Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name's Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host for the show today. And on today's show, we have Johny Lonestar. The first time he's ever been on the show. He is the world's best trick ropin, gun spinning, whip crackin cowboy. And you're going to like hearing his history and how he got into this business. Did you know trick roping was introduced to the United States by Charo Aropez, I hope I got that right, while working for Buffalo Bill's Wild West show in the 1890s, and he was declared champion of the world in 1900. Had lots of different tricks, and so this art really goes back a long ways. Actor and humorist Will Rogers was known for his roles as a cowboy, and he was an expert at trick roping as well, and showcased his skills in the 1922 silent film, The Ropin' Fool. That was 100 years ago when you think about it. Now, the crack of a whip comes from a loop traveling along the whip, gaining speed until it reaches the speed of sound and creates a sonic boom. So there's been studies on the science of the crack of the whip. So check that out. You can find it on Google out there. But you're going to learn a lot more here about Johny Lonestar, so hang tight. We'll be right back.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. And on today's show, we have Johny Lonestar, the world's best trick roping, gun-slinging, whip-cracking cowboy. Wow, I've never had anybody do any gun spinning on the show before. So welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Chris.
So you have been in the entertainment business a long time, yes, even here in Branson, but take us way back, and how did you get into all of this?
Well, you might think I'm from Texas, but I'm actually from New York. I was born and raised in Long Island, riding horses at 3 years old, doing calf roping, and having a good time doing all the cowboy stuff right in New York.
Okay, and so you started that at 3?
At 3, riding horses, calf roping about 7, and then I started trick roping about 15 years old. The guy came along, showed me a few tricks, and just practiced it and never stopped with the rope. So I started when I was about 15 years old.
Wow, and so talk about when you're doing this at 15, of course, you get out of high school. What happens? Do you hey, I want to make this a career, or what happens?
So again, started at 15, practiced at 19. There was a convention, trick roping convention in Las Vegas.
Really?
Went out there for competition, and the producer of Country Tonight, which was a show on the Las Vegas Strip, seen what I was doing in the convention and said, how about you come out to Vegas? Left home at 19 and started performing at the Las Vegas Strip in Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas.
Now, was that your first time to perform in a show? I mean, you went to this convention, because you like trick roping, but had you already been doing any performances before that?
So in New York, I was doing clown, magician, little kid birthday parties. Was never in a big show, corporate events and picnics and stuff like that. And then, as I said, 19, went to Vegas. And the producer seen what I was doing and flew me out to Vegas. And it was a 3-month contract, and I never went back home after that. So that was my first time doing a show, was in Las Vegas at 19.
Now,
it was a pretty weird experience because I couldn't go anywhere. I was 19. The security had to walk me through the hotels. I couldn't go to the gas station. I couldn't go out with my friends. So it was definitely a lot of fun doing a show, but it was definitely a weird experience being so young without my family there.
Huh. So you had a 3-month contract. What happened after that?
So a 3-month contract ended up being a year contract in Las Vegas, and that was a show called Country Night in Las Vegas. Then the producer decided to come to Branson, Missouri. And so they said, you're going to be a much better fit in Branson, Missouri, and they fly me to Branson to do Country Night, open that show here in 1994. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made was coming to Branson, Missouri. I've been here almost 30 years.
So when Country Tonight first started, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was at the old Ray Stevens Theater.
It was at the old Ray Stevens
And so there's a lot of people, in fact, I should have brought it. I had a picture that I think I showed a couple weeks ago on the show of an old Country Tonight cast.
Yes.
And you were in that.
I was in that for 9 years. My wife was in it, Clay Cooper, Wayne Massengale, RP, Slim Chance, the Moffats, Kimberly Cogwell. It was 12 dancers. It was one of Branson's best shows. I really enjoyed my 9 years with Country Tonight.
Yeah, and so were you there the whole time the show ran?
I was there the whole time the show ran, besides its last year there. And then I went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for 1 year.
Okay.
And then I came back to Country Tonight when it switched to the old Legends Theater. And I was in that with Ron Lair when he purchased Country Tonight. And I did that for 1 year. And then after that, I go to Mansion America and did Celebrate America and Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat for a year.
Okay.
And then I hop over to Silver Dollar City and do 1 year at Silver Dollar City. And then Clay Cooper opens up his morning show. And Clay said, come back with us. And then I was with Clay Cooper for 9 years and had a great run with Clay Cooper. And then I did Duttons 1 year, and now I'm with the Dave Hamner's Unbelievable Variety Show, and I've been there 3 years, and it's truly a great show for the families.
So did you ever think when you first started, like you would be doing this your whole entire life?
I definitely didn't think I was going to be doing this my whole entire life. I thought I was going to be a blacksmith, horseshoeing, and stuff like that, but this is a much better lifestyle. I love this. This is what I was meant to do.
Yeah. Do you know of anybody else in the country that actually does what you do?
Oh, absolutely. There's believe it or not, Angela Iodice, Ryder, Loop Rollins. There's plenty of great trick rope and Western arts performers. You're just not in Branson, Missouri, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
Because I have a little niche here in Branson.
Yeah. So as a performer, though, because you are niche, then you also have to find the shows that want that, and it's most of the time it's just a segment of the show.
It is a segment of the show, and I've learned to do a little pre-show and doing a little comedy just besides the Western arts to make myself more valuable. So I definitely learned how to squeeze my way into a show.
Mm-hmm. So besides the gun spinning, you do the whips and the lasso whole thing, and so talk a little bit about the lasso aspect, because how many, do you know like how many tricks you can do and that kind of thing? Or?
So there's thousands of tricks, different variations of trick roping. You have the butterfly, you have the wedding ring, you have the spoke hops, you have the Texas skip, you have the big loop. So, and then you just put it to music, you choreograph it just like a dance, but it's just a rope dance. And there's plenty of thousands of whip tricks that you can do. I cut flowers and targets off of people's hands, out of their mouths, and my whip bit is more comedy than anything else, so I definitely love that aspect of the act. And then the gun spinning is, you know, flipping it over your back, turning it around, throwing it and catching it, putting it into holster different ways, and again, all choreographed to music.
Yeah. Now, do you ever mess up on stage?
Absolutely, you mess up on stage. There's, you know, when you're doing thousands and thousands of shows, you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, folks, we're going to stop right here. We're going to be back in just a minute with Johny Lonestar. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're here with Johny Lonestar. And Johnny, one of the things that we did not talk about on the first segment is you were actually on season 2 of America's Got Talent.
Yes, I was.
And so can you tell people about that experience?
It was the highlight of my career. It was my Super Bowl. My dad didn't say, don't go audition. I said, I'm auditioning. I went to Chateau on the Lake right here in Branson, Missouri for my first audition. And then 2 days later, they call me up and tell me I got a spot on the TV show. And I am so glad I did the audition and so glad I did America's Got Talent. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Yeah. So when you were on, if I understand correctly, David Hasselhoff was one of the judges.
Yes.
And Sharon Osbourne.
Sharon Osbourne.
And then, was it Pierce?
Pierce Morgan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, he didn't like you, but the other two did, right?
Two of them absolutely loved me. Pierce Morgan, in the beginning, was hesitant about me, but I turned him around in the last episode that I was on.
There you go.
And I had some great comments and feedback from him as well.
Yeah. So you got a lot of national exposure on that
I did
show.
get a lot of national exposure. And after the TV show I did that, I went to Istanbul, Turkey, and did a TV show out there in Istanbul, Turkey.
Wow.
And it was a variety show, and they had definitely a lot of weird acts on the show out there.
You traveled really kind of other places around the world too. I mean, you went to Japan.
I went to Japan. I did a tour out in Japan in 3 different cities in Japan, and that was with Country Tonight, and that was, again, a great, great experience traveling to Japan. And I did Mexico, Texas, Las Vegas. I do a lot of corporate events around the U.S.
Yeah. So today you are in a show, and let's talk about that show today. Yes. Hamner's Unbelievable Variety Show.
I am in the Dave Hamner's Unbelievable Variety Show. If you like America's Got Talent, you're going to love this show. If you love the Ed Sullivan Show, you're going to love this show. It is one of Branson's true variety shows, and it is fantastic from ages 3 to 93.
Yeah, and so what are people going to get in the show? If they've never seen it, like what are some of the things that they're going to get?
So they're going to get a true variety show. You have Dave Hamner, who does world-class magic, birds flying over your heads, big-time illusions. Then you got Anthony Sunati on this giant steer wheel, who does a dance routine in this giant wheel that goes around. And then you got Maria Surik, who does the silks, and she is fantastic as well.
Now, you said silks. People may not know what silks is.
Silks are, you have 2 silks hanging from the ceiling. She climbs these silks all the way up, and she does this dance routine in the silks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep, and then we got Tamara and Jeff Brandt singing in the show, and then Mr. Downtown Kenny Brown, who does dancing and some comedy in the show.
Yeah, and folks, if you want to go back and look at some past episodes, we've had several of those folks on the show. We've had the Hamners, we've had Tamara Tanokno, Jeff Brandt, Downtown Kenny Brown's been on the show. And so not everybody on the show has been here, but now you're the next on there. Next. So and so we try to get just everybody on the show, on our show when we can. And so that show, it says here that throughout the summer it's mainly on Sunday afternoons at 3. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
That is the correct schedule.
At 8 p.m.
Yes.
Right.
And then Sunday is the matinee at 3.
Okay. And so those shows, I mean, the matinee is not any different than the evening show.
Nope, same exact show, it's just a different time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you also do a pretty elaborate Christmas schedule, like you guys, and Thanksgiving. Like, I think you're probably one of the few shows that actually plays on Thanksgiving.
We do, and it's one of our best crowds. We have a great Thanksgiving show, and we also have a wonderful New Year's Eve show as well. That New Year's Eve show, for the last 3 years I've been in it, it's been selling out every New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask the question, because you only have a segment in the show. Do you have to stay the full 2 hours?
I do stay the full 2 hours, because I'm also helping with a lot of the props moving on. So not only did I do the pre-show, and then I have the section at the end of the show, but during the time I'm helping out doing different things.
So they're utilizing you.
They are utilizing me, yes. And I like it that way too.
Yeah. The Hamners, they have been on lots of TV shows.
Yes.
And one of the things about Dave is he's also mentored a lot of other magicians. I'm about to say musicians.
Yes.
Magicians. So.
Yep, he's been around for quite a while, and we have magicians come to the show all the time, and it's just a great experience working with Dave. He's truly one of the best.
Yeah. Now, besides having a show on Sundays, he has actually a Sunday service.
He does have a Sunday service, yes, and that is every Sunday for the last 3 years I've been there, and I'm sure he's been doing it for 15, 30 years now.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a long time. So anyway, you know, some of the theaters do open up on Sundays, and so there's also several other shows at the theater.
Yes, we have ABBA, the Beach Boys, Bee Gees, Oh Happy Day just came in, the Statler Brothers, and Mike Walker.
Yeah, so that's like you guys are running shows all the time.
All the time. Denise is one hard-working lady. She is there every day. She's helping with the show. She's doing concessions. She's just a hard-working lady, taking care of all the animals, and of course, taking care of Dave.
Now, when you were at Country Tonight,
yes,
it was very influential because you also met your wife there, right?
I did. Actually, I met my wife in New York. We were high school sweethearts from New York.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
And then I come to Vegas, and she moves out to Vegas with me, and we were living in Vegas together before we moved to Country Night. And she wants to dance in the show. She auditions for the show and does not do well at the first audition. She meets the producers, they give her lessons, and 3 months later, she absolutely gets into the show in Las Vegas, and then they decide, both of us, to move to Branson, Missouri, and she starts here in Branson, Missouri with the full cast, and she actually does the 10 years with Country Tonight here, and it was a true blessing for us. And then I asked her to marry me on stage on 4th of July, and that's how we did that. And then we got married, and we've been together for almost 30 years.
Wow. Wow, what a cool story there, just in the way you guys proposed and all that. So see, I learned something I did not know today. So here's the deal, folks. If you want to go see Johny Lonestar and what he does with his ropes, the lasso, his gun twirling, and his whip cracking, one of the few, I would say, professional guys that does this in the entire world, that's been doing it for over 30 years, go see him over at the Hamner's Unbelievable Variety Show.
Yes.
That theater is located on Shepherd of the Hills Expressway. It's kind of right across the street from the Pierce Arrow Theater, or the Pierce Arrow Theater is right across from them, however you want to look at it, just down from IMAX. And you can catch this show on Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. And so they've been here a long time. Great variety show. You're going to see a bunch of different things on the show. So, Johny, we appreciate you coming out today. Thank you for slinging your guns and not shooting us.
No worries.
And what an awesome career you've had here in Branson.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're wrapping the show up today. We want to thank Johny Lonestar for coming. Be sure to go check out that show over at the Hamner's Unbelievable Variety Theater. They're on Sunday afternoons, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. Here's the deal. I also love the fact that they have a Thanksgiving night show, which not very many shows do that. So if you want to, the family's together, you want to go do something, check that out. And then they also have a lot of dates in December for their Christmas show. So check that out then as well. Next week's artist, I'm hoping he shows up, is Matt Gum with the Clay Cooper Theater. And he even has a few select dates where he has his own show in Branson. Here's some upcoming events right around the corner here in a couple days. Skid Row, Warrant, and Quiet Riot on June 18th out at Black Oak Amphitheater. Confederate Railroad, June 19th. Neil McCoy will be in town on June 19th and 20th. Terry Bradshaw on June 22nd. Sawyer Brown with Easton Corbin and Heath Sanders on June 24th. Brian Copeland and the Mixtapes, June 24th as well. Jeff Dunham, June 25th. And Celtic Throne over at the Mansion America Theater on June 30th. So those are some special one-off shows coming up in the area in the next couple weeks. If you need help planning your Branson vacation, be sure to go to ibranson.com. Those folks can help plan your entire vacation. They make it easy. You don't have to call all over town, run all over the place. Call them. One call does it all. You can get your shows, your attractions, your hotels. You can even get big discounts on dining with them. And so you'll want to check out those local folks at ibranson.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and message us on who you'd like to see on a future episode of Play Branson. We'll see you next week here on Play Branson. Thanks for watching.